Welcome, welcome in, come meet my Bristol bro. Anything from this to that, my Bristol bro. So nice to introduce my Bristol bro. Anyone from him to her, my Bristol bro. Work with these hands, you see this hard form. Say with your chest, my pen is hardcore. Even at my desk, feel like a star-lord. And it shows how much we give it all for. Now it's time to give them all an encore. Till it's back to the drawing. Welcome, welcome in, come meet my Bristol bro. Anything from this to that, my Bristol bro. So nice to introduce my Bristol bro. Anyone from him to her, my Bristol bro.
Welcome in, welcome in. Another Tuesday means another Bristol Bros live. I gotta bring my Bristol bro Sam in. Oh my goodness, look what he changed his name to. Buy my comics.
Spend money, give me your money.
Send Sam all your money. He has all the cool things on his website. You were just working on your website diligently before we went live here, man.
And I got it updated.
You hustling, you slanging some new stuff on there?
No, I still have my promotion on there from when I was running the sale on my site.
Gotcha.
Granted, I had the dates on there from when it ended. I just never actually pulled the poll down, and I went on my website earlier, and I was like, oh yeah, I still have my promotion active. So
yeah,
I pulled that down, and it's all good to go. I'm probably not going to be running any sales anytime soon, but is what I can tell everybody is, to just keep looking at my website. I'm going to have pre-orders for the Kirby bootleg anthology that we're doing. Probably is going to be up in like 2 weeks. I'll probably have the pre-order up, and then I'm going to be rolling into White Line #2 from there. And I have more in the works.
Not surprising me, man. You're always texting me updates and your work's in progress. And it's like I told you, I said, man, your production, your level of production and output in your art is something that inspires me. You're always jamming, you're always creating, man. So no shortage of Sam McClurg comics for people in 2026, safe to say, right?
Yeah, and you got to remember too, folks, that I'm doing this working 50 hours a week. So if you're not making comics, I'm sick of your excuses.
Yeah. And shoveling himself out of copious amounts of snow on most days as well.
Yeah, it's honestly like fortunately the last like 3-4 days, like it's at night, we've gotten flurries, but around 10 o'clock in the morning, 11 o'clock, it's already melted. But it's still just stupid cold outside. But thankfully, I think the stupid amounts of snow that we get has finally stopped.
Good. Yeah, hopefully it settles down, man. All right, I'm looking over at the chat. You have this in the chat, Sam. That's where you guys can buy Chuck Maxwell. You guys get over to bpaul.art and check it out. Mr. Victor Medina is in here with us. What's up, Vic? Good to see you, buddy.
The homie.
And Squidman says, look at that sweet hot pink wall paint. Yeah, it's Sam vibes. It wouldn't be a Sam studio without the hot pink. Says that's a nice setup. Love the spinner rack. Definitely. And Sam is spinning comics. He's slanging comics. Buy his comics. You guys can see that link there the whole time. And speaking of buying comics and buying Chuck Maxwell, we have an amazing guest with us here tonight. We have the creator of Chuck Maxwell, Mr. Brandon Paul. Let's bring him in. What's up, Brandon?
What's up, fellas?
Good to see you, buddy. Burning the midnight oil with us, being that you're 3 hours ahead. We greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, it's definitely feels like midnight when you're... We get to a certain age, 9 o'clock is like feeling real nice. I mean, I never go to bed at 9 o'clock, but it would be nice to be able to go to bed at 9 o'clock.
Just you wait. You guys are young. Sam, how old are you now?
I'm going to be 33 in a month.
Okay, I remember 33. Brandon, how old are you now?
I'll be 39 in March.
Okay. You're starting to feel it. You get after 35, little incremental declines, and then
Yeah.
it's like every 5 years, and then after 45, that's the real. Come back to me after that. It's gonna get interesting for you.
Yeah, you know you're getting up there when you throw your back out, putting your kid in the car seat.
Oh yeah. Or bending
Been
down
there.
to pick up a piece of paper off the ground, and it's like,
Hmm.
ugh, that was like the worst my lower back ever went out. It wasn't doing jujitsu or arm wrestling. It was literally leaning down to pick something up. So we're probably cutting into prime Chuck creation time. This is probably when you get a lot of your work done, is after everybody's in bed, and you can squeeze in some work. So I know you can't give away a lot of details because we gotta keep people hanging a little bit. But what are you willing to share about issue 2 of Chuck?
Well, I got a little bit of art I could share if you want me to share it now, or I could do it later after we talk a little bit. But
Let's talk a little bit more just to let more people come in because I can see it jumping up here. We're getting more and more. Usually, we like to tease them a little bit, and so give them the slow burn. Maybe we don't assume that everybody knows the origins of Chuck and how it came to be.
mhm.
Fill them in a little bit on that, and by the time we hit our equilibrium there, we'll be ready to tell everybody about issue 2.
Yeah, so I mentioned this on the podcast when I was on with you recently, and Chuck kind of came about because I was doing Inktober um, in 20, when was that, 2016? Anyway, it all kind of runs together at this point.
Yeah.
But I did a piece and posted it online of my dog at the time. His name was Charlie. He's who Chuck is based off of. Um, and he was like sitting in a hover tank in a desert landscape, and uh, I just loved it. And one of my friends, actually Mike Lancet, who I was telling you about, he was like, "Man, you should make a comic out of this." And I kind of like kicked that idea in my head, kicked that idea around in my head for a little bit, and ended up kind of rolling with it. And so the rest is history. So he's I kind of based a story off of him, wrote the whole thing. Um, kind of I think I mentioned also on the interview with you that I had taken a trip out west and kind of got inspired by that landscape.
Yeah.
So that's why the comic starts off in Utah, because it's kind of like that was really inspiring to me at the time and still is. I love it out there. Um, but yeah, and Mobius too. Mobius, I think kind of that was all kind of one big amalgam of everything that I liked at the time. But Chuck is basically me in a nutshell, even his story and where he comes from. Because starting off in the beginning of the book, you know, you read it, he's kind of he's a smart aleck. He doesn't really care about anything. Nothing really matters to him but just getting a paycheck, and he doesn't really care about the world around him. And eventually, through things that go on in his life and around him, he has to be kind of forced to care. And you know, that's kind of not a direct parallel to my life, but some things like that where I, you know, when I was making Chuck, when I first started out, when I was younger, when I was in my 20s, I didn't really care about anything but myself. But you know, you grow up, you have a kid, you have a wife, um, you have things going on in the world that make you care about, you know, more than just yourself, and realize that other people have it a lot worse than you. Um, just kind of, you know, Chuck is thrust into something that he has to deal with and has to learn how to be a different person. So that's kind of what it all boils down to. Is, you know, that was a little bit rambly, but
Hey, no, that's great, man. Everybody loves hearing the origin story, so to speak. And you know, the crazy thing is that you came into this world of comic books kind of out of left field and fully formed, and that blows a lot of people away to learn uh, that this is your first comic, and you like did it all on your own, like everything.
Yeah. That was really the first thing that I did. I mean, I touched on this a little bit when I talked to you, but I went to art school and then kind of didn't touch art for a while and did the 9 to 5 and then got back into it. Started with Inktober,
Yeah.
started posting my stuff on Instagram, got a little bit of traction when it was just as easy to just hashtag your stuff and people would like it. Um, but yeah, Chuck was the first thing that I was just kind of like, all right, I'm gonna make a comic. I'd never made one before then, and then I started working on another project for a few years, and that kind of took me off Chuck for a while. So
Yeah.
that's still that's under NDA right now, but I can't wait for it to not be under NDA because it was a really cool project to work on, and I learned a lot. I grew a lot as push myself as an artist on that project.
So nothing comics wise before Chuck though, right?
No, just I went to art school. I got a job right out of college doing multimedia stuff and kind of stuck with that, motion graphics, graphic design, that kind of thing. I just jumped right back into it and was like, all right, let's draw.
Yeah, and it kind of sounds like about he's been in the works, for about 10 years since the start, right? You said around like 2016 or so when you first started to develop the concept.
Yeah, I worked on it starting in end of 2016 into 2017, and then worked on that for about a year and a half to 2 years, and then kind of got pulled off of that onto this other project that I worked on
Okay.
anytime I had a chance. And that recently, it was kind of a slow burn project. We worked on it for a while. He wasn't in a hurry to get it done. I wasn't in a hurry to get it done. But that recently, I guess, a couple of years ago is when I wrapped that up. So
we
yeah.
have a question from Squid Marks. I know that Chuck was the first, but what are your major influences in sequential art or outside of that?
We were just talking before the stream started that Saturday morning cartoons were a big one for me growing up, watching shows like Rocko's Modern Life and Batman the Animated Series and all those great shows that were on, not necessarily just on Saturday mornings, but episodic cartoons where each episode is an adventure. That's kind of like what I want Chuck to be. Each arc of Chuck, like this first five issue arc, is going to be kind of like, imagine that as like a long episode of a cartoon. But anyway, yeah, that the cartoons were a huge influence on me. SWAT Cats was a huge influence on me, which I'm so excited that that's getting comic book.
Did you back the Kickstarter?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, dude. And you couldn't ask for a better artist to draw.
Oh, he's amazing.
Yeah. But then also, I mentioned Mobius. He was a big influence on me later in life. But the first comics that I really got into, like hardcore, when I was younger, I was never really into comics when I was really young. But then, like later after high school, I got into Hellboy and Mignola. Anything that he did, I was obsessed with. And my art doesn't look anything like his, but just from a storytelling perspective, for sure. I look up to him a lot. And let me think, who else? I got into, you remember those Dark Tower Jay Lee books?
Oh, those
the Stephen
were awesome.
King.
Yeah, the Stephen King ones. Yeah.
I think those are the first, trades that I ever got, and I liked them a lot. I didn't, I didn't know back then. I couldn't tell you the difference between Todd McFarlane's art and, Rob Liefeld because I wasn't following comics. Honestly, it was a little bit intimidating for me because you kind of didn't know where to start. Because I liked Batman. I wanted to get into Batman, but I didn't know where to start. So it was easier just to, watch the show, watch the movies, play the video games. But I love comics now.
With Batman, it's exceptionally hard because it's like we got like friggin', 10 issue ones come out every week. It's like you said, like, where do I start? Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little bit intimidating. In the back then, you couldn't order stuff online. Um, so you had to actually walk into a comic shop and you have all these guys staring at you.
Yeah.
They're almost like, you know what? Where do I even begin?
Yeah, it can be an intimidating world, can it?
Mhm.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to the chat here, and Sam is back, so I'm going to include him back on here. Okay, so we got good old smiley sunglass guy, my buddy John. Thank you, buddy. Um, Massive Panda says, yeah, long deconstructed storylines and sagas are awesome, but I think it's easier for new readers to jump in anywhere if each issue is its own storyline. Yeah, I totally agree. Like self-contained issues are awesome. Like self-contained, but that allude to things that might happen are definitely cool. Oh wow. No way Nova says best pod in 2026. Thank you, buddy. John agrees. Boom. All right. So I kind of filled in some of the Chuck backstory, the origins, some of your artistic influences, and I remember I had the same gripe I think a lot of people did. The only criticism of Chuck Maxwell issue 1 is it kind of ends on a cliffhanger note. It leaves us wanting more.
Yeah, and I kind of I don't want to say I lost sleep over that, but it kind of like I was like I want to hook people, I want to get them invested, but at the same time you know, you don't want to do too much because then you're just going to piss people off.
Yeah.
Um, but I feel like it was a good point to leave off, and you know, that was the biggest thing is, you know, kind of as I dove into comics, you want to respect the page turn and you want to end on a cliffhanger, and especially at the end of the book because you want them to want the second book. Unfortunately, it takes me a whole lot longer than a monthly issue to to do that.
Right.
But yeah, I think it definitely that is you said that, you know, a couple other people have said that. It's like, I want more. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but I
It
just
even
wish I could
came
go
up
faster.
when even came up between Dave and Sam and I when they were like, "Dude, this guy comes out of nowhere, fully fleshed out pro level book that he did all on his own, and then he leaves us hanging on a cliffhanger." And it's one of those things where I didn't initially know if you were even planning on an issue 2 until I had you on the pod. So I'm like, man,
Mhm.
the world needs more of this, right?
I'm looking
That's
forward to
my
making
opinion,
more.
right, Sam? The world needs more Chuck
We're sick of waiting.
and more comics like Chuck, man. It's just such a awesome, like you can tell how much passion's behind it and how much it means to you. That comes across in the art and the story. So I think that's something really special.
Hmm.
One of the questions that I had for you right away was just because for those people that don't know out there, Brandon and I had studied under Sean Crystal and Jake Parker at SVS together. And my question to you is, after going through that course, what do you think was like the biggest takeaway from the course that you implemented it into Chuck that you didn't have in your toolbox before the course?
I think for me, so you did the graphic
Right.
novel one, right?
Yep.
I did the self-publishing one, so mine may be a little bit different from yours. But for me personally, mine was just the whole self-publishing part of it. They kind of teach you everything sorry, I can't talk. Self-publishing pro to be able to go from, you know, having not drawn a page to having something shipped, and that part of it, having something shipped, Chuck was done and I was just kind of like, all right, what do I do now? And they lay it all out very thoroughly, and you know, it kind of like it empowered me to say, all right, I can get books printed off, I'll go through mix them, I can ship them this way. They tell you kind of like how to do your shipping stuff, how to do Kickstarter. If you want to do Kickstarter, there's a whole part in there on Kickstarter, just from beginning to end, and everything that you should and shouldn't do a Kickstarter. And I can always go back and refer to those, if I ever need help. I plan on doing a Kickstarter, probably for issue 2. I'm not quite sure yet, but I think now that I've built kind of an audience and Chuck has some, people know about it, that it would be a good jumping off point. But yeah, that's the biggest thing, not necessarily from a art or writing perspective, but just from a getting it out there perspective, it was hugely helpful.
That's really cool. We got a couple of questions. Squidmarks has a lot of questions. We want to make sure that we get everybody's questions answered here. So the Ink Pulp guys mentioned it during the portfolio review. I definitely get a Euro BD comic vibe from the first issue stuff I saw. Is that something you're inspired by beyond Mobius?
Mobius is the big one, but yeah, definitely in trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I guess developing my style. I didn't really know what I wanted my style to be, but in getting into Mobius, it kind of led me down that rabbit hole of all the other, like Drie and all those other guys that kind of like got me inspired to draw a certain way. And so I started playing around with it, and kind of like, honestly, I never really thought that much about finding a style. I just kind of like, this feels natural to me. This is how I like to draw things. I like this. I like this airship or whatever, or this tank to look like a an old aid, like a Russian tank, with all the little kind of, I don't know if you've seen them, but they're these little model kits. I forget what they're called. I'll have to. Have you seen the work of Simon Stellenhag? I don't even know how you say that word. It's he has a book called, I think, Into the Loop or something. But that kind of design of like these floating ships and stuff and everything, I kind of just, things, I wouldn't say I pulled from, the BD comics and stuff like that. They just kind of, as I saw them, I kind of subconsciously, they made their way into my design sense, I guess. I don't know.
They permeated your subconscious. Yeah.
Yeah. And
Squidmarks wants to know, you got any plans to come to cons in 2026?
So initially I wasn't, but my wife kind of talked me into it. She's like, I think you should. And I think I'm going to try. I don't know if I can, based on, I think Friday is when they open it up to be able to buy a table if you haven't been there before, but I'm going to try to go to Heroes.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
I've heard that's a really good one. So
yeah, I've heard good things.
That would be my Tales from the Loop. Thank you. That's what it's called.
There you go.
Yeah, so I think I'm going to try to do Heroes, if I can get a spot.
I'll be there. Let's go.
I'll see you there.
Oh yeah,
I'm jealous.
Hopefully. I ordered a new run of the official second printing of Chuck Maxwell, so I'm ready to go.
Oh yeah.
Sam, I'm jealous. You'll have to pick me up a copy in person and get it signed.
Oh, now you're just demanding shit.
Yeah. Yeah. Tales from the Loop was the name of the book. I'm going to have to check that out. Now, we're waiting on issue 2. Tell everybody roughly how far you are into issue 2 now.
I'm about a third of the way with inked, the third of the way inked through and everything.
Okay.
Coloring doesn't take as long as, honestly, the hardest part for me is the writing to pencil stage takes me a while, because I think I overanalyze how I lay things out.
Yeah.
And I don't want to do it the wrong way. But I'll draw something and then think about it and be like, is that the best way to draw that? And, kind of just analyze it over and over and over. And, eventually I'll just settle on something. But
parallelization through overanalyzation.
Yeah.
The artist's worst trait sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
Do you find the lettering process goes pretty quick for you?
Yeah, I do it digitally. I tried to use an Ames lettering guide, and I was like, nope.
Sam's a glutton for punishment. I'm sure that's what he's using over there.
Yeah, 100%.
And
Lettering guide all day.
And 100% traditional tools, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have I have one of those guides, but my handwriting is already so awful. Anytime I try to use it and I try to actually write, everything in my brain is telling me you're terrible at writing. Don't even try. Like
You're
'cause it's
questioning it.
yeah, it's awful.
Is what I did to get good at it, and this is something that I got from a Jim Rugg, is buy like a composition notebook and just roll a bunch of lines in it,
Mm.
and then just sit on your free time and then just do a whole page of nothing but A's, all uppercase. Go to the next page, do nothing but A's and all lowercase, and you'd be surprised by the end of that page, like your A down at the very bottom is going to look way better than the A at the very top. And just
Yeah.
doing that one page increases your skill like
Oh, yeah.
tenfold. So
Yeah, that really makes sense.
I could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like if you want to get good at drawing the figure, start with the arm and get good at drawing arms from every angle, hands from every
Mhm.
angle. Yeah, same process. Yeah.
you could
that's
always
a-
make digital fonts too. Just make a bunch of A's on a page and scan them in and
Yeah.
go down that
I did
whole
that.
rabbit hole.
Oh, there you go.
Originally when I was going to do lettering, I did that and it was hard to get the kerning right, but it was kind of cool, as an experiment. I feel like I could really spend a lot of time on it and get it dialed in and have a really nice font. That'd be great.
Got another great question here from Squid Marks. If you had to collaborate with another creator, who would you want to work with among the writers working right now? Not breaking any existing NDAs, of course.
Working writer right now. Let me think.
That NDA
The obvious
is making it hard for him, guys. Everybody's knocking at this guy's door right now.
No, it's nobody, not
Brandon,
a lot of
let
knocking
me
going
keep
on.
up the illusion, buddy. You're supposed to go, yeah.
Yeah.
So all the writers watching go, I need to get on this guy's list.
The obvious answer for me is Mike Mignola.
Yeah.
But I guess Dennis Camp is really good right now. Everybody is, he's just killing it out there. But is that the right?
Mignola, Camp.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I guess I don't really think about that a lot. That's kind of took me by
focused on
surprise, I
Chuck.
guess. Yeah, I
Focused
kind
on
of
Chuck.
I'm head down. There are obviously people I'd love to work with.
That's what I want to hear. I don't want you distracted because Sam and I want this book like yesterday.
Yeah. Mignola would be a good one. I just wouldn't want to draw it in his style because I remember when Duncan Fregretto, when he was talking about it on the Inkpole podcast about how when he I remember when he first came out he first came out with a Hellboy book, people were like, they're completely against it because who can draw Hellboy but Mignola? And I feel like if Mignola were to write something that I drew, it would have to be like there would be no spot blacks. It would be my style, So I don't know.
Yeah, everybody associates that iconic look of Hellboy with Mignola, so it's hard to not compare when anybody else gets on there. And it'd be like if I tried to draw Chuck, he wouldn't look right, You'd be like, what the heck? What's this guy? This looks like a rendered 90s image dog. This doesn't look like Chuck. Too much cross-hatching.
I do love to see other people draw different characters in their own style. So I had one guy that was on a Discord that I'm on who sent me just unsolicited a character design of Chuck in his style, and I was like, oh man, it's like the first official fan art.
Cool.
Yeah, it was great. It was really cool.
The illustrious Vic Medina wants to know, do you write to your artistic strengths or do you write and then say later, why the F did I write that?
A little bit of both. I'll show you in a little bit when I use the other camera, but usually I'll write to my strengths and also write things that I know are going to be hard to draw, but kind of like grin and bear it and like, all right, this is going to suck, but I'm drawing this city because I have to draw it because it's going to be for the best effect.
Making more work for yourself.
Yeah, but I think it's all about the payoff. I don't like to take shortcuts in life. I don't like to use, I don't use AI. I'm a very kind of like can-do person, and so I don't like to go out of my way to, like take the easy way out, or I guess.
That's good, man. That's I would say that's a characteristic that's somewhat lacking these days. So that's really cool to hear, and I think it comes across in the work. Like the work really stands out. Unsolicited fan art is the highest honor and will usually make your day. Massive Panda says, "Yes, this is true." Well, you mentioned a second camera, dude. And Sam, if you have something else you wanted to ask him before he shows the art, but I think we're at a good peak point here, about 30 minutes in, for him to show some of that. You got anything else you wanted to ask Brandon before he switches his cam over?
No, I'm good right now. And then plus I have Chuck here too. So if we wanted to look at some of that, we
got to do that. So. We can't not do that with the man that created it here and have him kind of talk through the book with us. That would be awesome. Well, you want to get your cam all switched over there, Brandon?
Sure.
Awesome. Do it, buddy.
All right,
Let's
see it?
How seamless that was. No technical difficulties.
I'm trying.
Now, I'm giving you the full screen here so we get the full effect.
All right, so this is actually the city scene that I was talking about. It's kind of a
wow.
Let me just, before I even show this, I got some questions about the whole background of Chuck Maxwell, and so issue 2, the beginning of issue 2 will kind of clear some of that stuff up, like why is there a dog walking around on Earth? Why is, where is he from? Is he some kind of failed science experiment? Why is the Earth like this? And so the first several issues of Chuck Maxwell issue 2 kind of deal with how the world got to be this way. So essentially what happened was mankind, Earth, they established a utopia, no more wars, everything was great. They were spacefaring. They achieved, settlements on Mars, and started to explore the galaxy. And then one day, about 1,000 years before the events of Chuck Maxwell, sorry, not 1,000 years. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm rambling. Anyway, a long time ago, before Chuck existed,
keep us guessing, man. You can't give the whole story away.
I don't want to give it. I mean, you'll see it in the
throw
first.
The red herrings in there. We can.
Yeah. So a giant ship shows up out of nowhere and just hovers there for years. Starts freaking everybody out. They start to kind of reconsider their whole anti-war stance. Some people do. Some people want to be its friends. Some people want to go see what's going on, knock on their door and see if they're friendly. Some people want to nuke it. Basically the rules of human nature. The decency of man loses out and ends up annihilating the Earth. So,
and we're getting. Is this the first you've ever shown any of this on?
This online? Is. Yep. You're getting a special.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Look, I gotta throw this up there. Is any excuse to use this, guys? We got breaking news. This is the first he's ever shown Chuck Maxwell online for issue 2 now.
Yeah, there's so anyway, just to get this kind of I feel like I'm not showing too much because this goes into the backstory of the world and kind of gives you a little bit of an idea of why it is the way that it is. But here you have people from Earth escaping as it's being destroyed, and essentially everybody on Earth is wiped out. Some escape. Eventually, later they come back, but the Earth is a barren wasteland at this point. 1,000 years later, scavengers are passing by the Earth, go down to investigate because they see there's no life forms there, and go down. They discover this element, which is kind of a main thing in my story. It's called blosium, and if you've read it, you've seen it. But it's like it enables faster than light speed. It's a highly potent power source. Think of it as kind of like the spice in Dune, but like not exactly like that, because I'm not writing a space opera. That's like too it's highbrow for me. I love Dune, but I'm not at that level. There's too much, there's not a whole lot of politics going on here. But anyway, they discover this element called blosium, and it sort of initiates a second gold rush on Earth, like in the 1800s. And everybody within, everybody in the whole galaxy, human, not human, they kind of fall on Earth. Everybody wants to mine this stuff. They want to get as much of it as they can. So you have all different walks of life who show up wanting a piece of the pie. And Chuck is one of those. He just wants to make a living. He's a freelancer, and he's just trying to get by. You have these huge corporations who want to step on everybody. As always, if there's a chance for money to be made, they're going to do that. But anyway, that's kind of where it starts off, and then you go back to the next page after that is when after the discovery of blosium, you see Chuck and picking up where you left off with the giant monster from issue 1, the end of issue 1. So yeah, there it is. I could show more.
No. Off stream, if you want to show us more, you can. But this is all these guys get. Squidmarks wants to know, what tools are you working with generally?
I use, for the most part, microns.
Okay.
For the cover of Chuck Maxwell issue 1, I used a nib, I think a G nib, and some. I don't know what this stuff is. This ink, the special.
Oh, that's the special one. Yeah, that's what my buddy Evgeny uses. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It was a learning experience because I'd never used a nib before. But I love the cover. I feel like it came out really nice. But my bread and butter is microns, 005s and 01s. It's kind of like what I use all the time.
Nice. Squidmark says, dude, I can see huge leaps and bounds in skill you've taken since the first issue just from these cursory previews. Congrats, man.
Thank you. I kind of, let me hop back to my other camera.
Yeah.
So that was an issue that I saw when I kind of got back into Chuck Maxwell, is that I looked at those early pages that I'd made years ago and saw that Chuck was off model. He didn't even look. I was like, man, I have to go back and redo these. So I penciled and inked his face in a few pages at the beginning, and then just like kind of a digital paste up, basically. I just went back into Photoshop
on issue 1.
Yeah, for issue 1. Yeah,
because you started it way back. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and I'd grown so much since then.
Yeah. That's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
If I wasn't excited before, I'm like really excited now, because that's looking great, and you got to keep that momentum.
I'm trying, man. Yeah.
You got to do a Kickstarter, and as somebody who has done a Kickstarter without basically any work previous to that, it's possible to do one. Proof is in the pudding. It's a lot of fucking work, so just be prepared for that. I'm happy to help, so just ask.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Sam's the Kickstarter guy. He's done a lot. Squidmarks, I don't.
Yeah, you're the hardest working man out there.
He is. I don't think he remastered Chuck 1. He's talking about he started it in 2016, and then when he started back up on it and looked at it, so the what's in issue 1 is the remastered stuff, correct?
Yes. Yeah, there are a few panels from
Maybe
when I first started. After it was already inked.
if our guy Sam is going through it and we're going over issue 1 with you, maybe you can point out some of those to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Sam, you want to get your cam switched over and pull that up?
Send it.
Actually, if you want to go ahead and pull that up, I can actually get some of the old pages before I fix them.
Do it.
All right.
Don't threaten us with a good time, man. Go get them. Awesome. All right, Sam, you want to get it ready to rock and roll over there? You got it all dialed in now. I think you got your setup refined.
I'm gonna buy a second camera eventually, so I can just swap between them without having to constantly move it. So
yeah, that'll definitely make it easier for you. Awesome. So he's gonna get some pages, and you're gonna get issue 1 out. And I would say I'm gonna give a spoiler warning to the audience. If you don't want to be spoiled on things that occur in issue 1, now is your point that you should step away from the stream and avert your eyes, because there are going to be some spoilers ahead. And I'm going to put spoiler warning in the chat here.
I kind of forgot. I forgot that I even, as you can see, this is 8.5 by 11, and I completely forgot that those first pages were 8.5 by 11.
You started off, with it more almost 1-to-1.
You could see his face there.
Yep, very different.
And like here, like it doesn't even look like him.
No, it doesn't.
But I was like, I got to go back and change that,
Yeah.
just because it's gonna bug me, like the proportions of his head to his body here. It's like,
all right, I'm gonna give Sam the full screen now.
All right.
And you can talk us through some of this. All right, Sam.
First and foremost, shameless plug.
Yeah, look at that segue.
Heck yeah, man.
And look who did that cover.
Hell yeah, dude.
Exclusive.
I love that cover.
White Line Deadline cover. Amazing.
Yeah, it's sick. Did you do this physical or is it digital?
It's physical.
Oh, brother, we're gonna have to talk.
Yeah, get that pocketbook.
I got it, man.
That's fucked up. You're gonna make me pay for my own cover,
huh? Okay, how about he just trades you some exclusive Chuck content?
Nah, brother, we'll work it out. We'll talk.
Look at that.
But yeah, dude, check this out.
Crazy.
People out there that are sleeping on some Chuck, you're wrong. Go buy some comics from this man.
Yeah. And look at that. Yeah, you totally, you were right to rework his face on that page, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in seeing that.
Yeah, it's way different. I mean, it's just, I wouldn't have been able to live with it. I didn't have to redraw the whole page, thankfully. But I did have to go back and just, make myself be okay with it.
Love that hovercraft so much.
Yeah, it has a name. That's the AG 319 Rhino Duke.
Nice. Yeah, so the landscape is something that really stuck out to me too. That's cool. You drew inspiration from that trip you took.
Mm-hmm.
The first thing that I thought of when I first saw this this comic was Shaolin Cowboy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
Oh my God, why did I not say Jeff Darrow earlier when that question was asking me about my my influences? Obviously,
I think it's apparent. You didn't even have to say it.
Sure.
I get on these streams and I just forget everything in my brain.
This dude looks like something like right out of Star Wars.
That's what I was gonna say. He kind of, he kind of reminds me of a Star Wars, kind of almost some Cad Bane vibes going on there.
Mm.
I like
oh
it.
yeah.
Yeah, and these little side characters is such well fleshed out, like these characters that he's friends with and everything. fully fleshed out pro level work on his first try. It's just sickening.
How long does it typically take you to color a page?
It depends on. You know what? I've asked myself that before and thought next time I color a page, I should time myself, and I never do. Um, I could probably color a page like in a day or two if I really put myself to it, or like actually like work my butt off. But usually
Right.
I don't. usually it takes me a little bit longer because I'm doing other stuff. So I would say a few days.
Nice.
I think next time with issue 2, when I color a page, I'm gonna actually find out how long it takes me to do this stuff, because I just do it, and I
Right.
never have an answer when people ask me that. I'm like, I don't know. It takes as long as it takes.
Well, that's the beauty of doing it for yourself, right? Like not working on a super tight deadline.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
I
yeah.
saw Mike's comment. Thanks, Mike.
Yeah. Says Brandon does these really nice large open panels that show off the vast landscapes of the desert. You really get a feel for the world on all these pages. Yes, you do. And he bought your cover for White Line. That's awesome. Sam, is that cover still available up on your website?
It is, and out of all the covers, that is the one that I have the least amount of left.
So people need to get over there. And
Yeah, so if you want to, you got to get it. I think I have like 10 or less.
I think they're going to all be gone after this stream.
Sam, if you want to go back one page,
Yeah,
there's an Easter egg that nobody has ever mentioned to me that I snuck in there. But if you on the right side page on panel 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
this side?
Yeah. Right under his armpit, there's some Rush albums. Rush is a huge influence on me. Yeah.
Is that Moving Pictures?
I think Fly By Night and Moving Pictures.
Yeah, I see Fly By Night. Yeah.
Yeah. Rush is my favorite band of all time, so I had to, he's a Rush fan for sure.
Oh yeah, I get down with that. 2112 is probably my favorite Rush record.
Look at that explosion, man.
Hell yeah. This is crazy good cartooning.
Right there is amazing.
This one up here too is really good.
Yeah.
What was the I guess like the inspiration behind kind of like going towards more like a anthropomorphic character style rather than kind of going more towards humans?
I think they're just more fun to draw, honestly. I get I don't know, I just feel like it's more of a challenge to emote with them, because dogs don't have lips. They don't have mouths and all the same facial expressions that we have. And so I don't know, it's just honestly a huge part of it is probably just growing up watching Ninja Turtles and any anthropomorphic TV show, where they were fighting crime or fighting literally anybody. That was always more appealing to me than like superheroes, which is kind of, I do like Batman, but like I always like SWAT cats, Ninja Turtles, Street Sharks, Biker Mice from Mars. Those,
They had the big thing for me when I first saw your work was like Star Fox was a big one, and then probably what the hell was the name of that? Bucky O'Hare.
Mm-hmm.
So
Star Fox was huge.
I see a little Black Sad in there too. Do you ever read Black Sad?
Not the whole thing, but I have seen.
But you've seen
issues of it. Yeah,
right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's so good.
Crazy anthropomorphic stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Massive Panda, or wait, Squid Marks wants to know: are you Canadian?
I am not Canadian. I just love Rush. I got into him from a very early age and
He's not Canadian, eh?
I'm not.
Massive Panda, Brandon, how much of a pain in the neck is it to draw the Rhino Duke, especially multiple times on a single page, or is every nut and bolt pretty much memorized at this point?
It's not too bad. There are times when I'll get, I'll get to a page and I'll draw it and realize that I drew something out of place,
Right.
like from the page before. Like, oh, the ladder on the side, the little step ladder. There's actually 5 rungs in this one that I drew, but there's 4 on this page. Like, is anybody gonna notice? Probably not. But I better redraw it or add,
Or
just
come up
because,
with
like,
lore for why
yeah, that's the thing is,
it
yeah,
transforms. It can rungs can disappear depending on what's needed.
I just
yeah.
ran into that same debacle because I'm working on the second story for Fat Pussy and the the Jack Kirby bootleg that I'm doing,
Mhm.
and I got to page 9 and I drew a surfboard in her hand, and previous to that she had gotten in a fight and took a surfboard, and then so like from like page like 5 to 9 I totally neglected to draw a surfboard. So I had to go
Yeah.
back and draw surfboards the last 2 days.
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that's also like part of the overanalyzation part is I don't have that background and hanging out in comic stores and seeing what people talk about. So I don't know if people who read comics are gonna look through and say, well, actually on this page you did it differently.
Certain people will.
Because I grew up watching movies and there were always those guys who would find inconsistencies and be like,
Yeah.
well, actually on this in this frame, his like in Hellboy, one of my favorite movies, his right hand of doom switches in one shot to his left hand. And that always like
Yeah.
like is somebody gonna be reading my comic and be like, well,
They must
you're
have
inconsistent here.
They must have flipped the footage in that scene.
They flipped it, yeah,
Yeah.
they did.
You can be like Todd because the whole thing was spawned because people were bitching to him when it
His
first started was
costume.
putting pouches in different spots. He's like, well, the costume it's alive, so it just moves
Yeah.
around. He's made some bullshit excuse why he doesn't have to draw it twice at the same time. So
Exactly.
just make up some bullshit excuse so you don't have to draw it twice every time.
Yeah.
Nobody will know but you.
It's like in Farscape. I don't know if you ever watched Farscape, but Moya the ship was like a living thing.
Right.
Like, oh, Rhino Duke is just a living thing. It could change however
Exactly,
it wants.
man. Did you do a lot of concept sketches and all that for the machinery and the landscapes and the ship and everything before you started working on the book?
I do. Somewhere I have all that stuff. I even have a whole list of pages or a whole list of names of what I was going to call Chuck. But I have, how his machinery works and all that stuff. Like in issue 1, where he's in that tunnel, and then kind of he has the reverse thruster that comes, like opens up, and then that kind of didn't really come about until I was almost done with the book. I was like, how am I going to get him out of this situation? And I was like thinking back to, I think I mentioned on the podcast when I was on with you that my dad was a pilot and I was like really big into aviation, and you see those planes, it'll stop with the reverse thrusters. Like this will be really, this will be a cool way to get rid of this guy. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, I have sketches and stuff, but yeah, go ahead.
Do you still have those pages from issue 1 out on your desk?
Just the one page, yeah.
Do you have any others, or just the one that you changed the faces on?
I just have that one, but I can pull up any. I have a whole drawer full of them. I can pull up whatever you want me to.
How about the selfish side of me wants to close out and wants to see those before we close out the stream?
Which ones?
The issue 1 pages, the old stuff. If you don't mind pulling them out, can we look at a few of those?
Oh yeah.
Before we end the stream.
A preface. This I worked on issue 1. That was before I started using 11x17. So I worked on 2 8.5 by 11. Yeah,
that makes it even more impressive, dude.
All right, 1 second.
All right. Massive Panda says, "Oh, they will." "Quote unquote, this extremely small character in the background has a finger that's drawn incorrectly. Your art is trash." These are the type of people who are looking for a reason not to enjoy it. Absolutely. Yep. That happens, guys. I'm going to pop this full screen back up. Look at that. guys saw the little subtle changes he made to the faces on that one. All right. You got the full screen here, buddy.
All right, give me a second. I'm kind of digging through here.
No worries.
They're all, I don't know what I did, but they're all out of order. Here's a good one.
Oh, yeah.
You can kind of see where I screwed stuff up and I left notes in the margins and the gutters where I need to go back and fix it. Like, this was before I started doing my effects on the page.
Mm-hmm.
I put a little thud here because I was going to put a thud in Photoshop.
Right.
Just little things where I mix up here, fix hand. I don't even know. Yeah, his hand looks awful there. So I go back and fix that.
Right.
This is, let me see. This is probably one half of one of my favorite pages, which I think you used in the.
That's so cool.
I'll have to find the other part of it, but yeah, I love that page.
Yeah.
I love this.
Amazing.
His expression in this picture.
Yep.
And in this panel is just so good when he's kind of having this little standoff.
Yeah, you nailed it.
Yeah, man. It's a lot of pages here.
No kidding, man.
You don't really realize how much work you do until you hold it all in your hands.
Yep. Yeah, Squidmark says so cool of you to share these, man.
Yeah, absolutely. I love it. I mean, I can't get enough of this stuff. Just the inking is my favorite part, honestly, because I could just sit, put on a podcast, or put on some music, and just go to town on some inking. Because I think I mentioned in the podcast is that my pencils are pretty rough, and I do a lot of legwork in inking. So that's the most fun.
Drawing is done in the inking stage, huh? You're pretty
that's
loose and rough.
Mm-hmm. That's a fun part for me is to do that. Here's this
there you
page. You can see how it's like two pieces. And then I'd have to stitch it together in Photoshop.
Are you gonna sell any of this stuff? Or are you looking to hold on to those?
For now, I'm holding on to it. I don't know. If there's any interest in the future, I may let them go. But like as of right now, I don't really see a market for it because Chuck isn't really known yet.
There's a market. There's a market called James Foster and Sam McClurg market that will be probably pestering you. See that expression, man. And I loved how you did that reflection in that on the third panel there.
Yeah, I think I try to pull from my animation background as much as possible. And a big part of that is the expressions, because if you don't, I think you can say a lot with a word bubble, but if what you're drawing in the panel really sells it, it makes it a million times more impactful.
Yeah. Squidmarks wants to know, do you do a lot of thumbnailing before you go to the page?
A little bit, but it's all digital. You want me to show some more or go back on camera?
Dude, if you don't mind, I'm here for it.
Sam,
you're not gonna stop him, right, Sam? I'm not gonna stop him.
I'm gonna personally drive to Atlanta and hold him at knife point.
You're a little too close to where he lives, man. Yeah. And you know where he's going. Don't bring those with you to the con. If you go to Heroes, don't bring those with you. Sam will be trying to leave with all of them.
I'll end on this one then.
All right.
Here you go. Ready?
Yep.
This is the cover. Let's see if I can really get in there.
You got the wash on there?
Yep.
Wow.
And this character is pencil. So
Beautiful.
I could keep it really light.
Dude, I can't think of a better piece of art to end this sharing session with, man. That is amazing.
Appreciate it. It was a lot of fun. It was a learning experience because I didn't really I didn't know how it was going to look in the end, but I knew I kind of did a color study and I had a sort of a plan. But like I love, it's one of my favorite things that I've ever done as far as like pieces of art goes.
It should be, man. Awesome. Well, why don't you hop back over to your other camera, and we will start to close this thing out. Let's see. Massive Panda says, my only advice to Brandon, hold on to the first page of Chuck's actual appearance. I sold the first page of my main character's appearance for cheap because I was desperate, and I've regretted it ever since. Yeah, that's sage advice right there. Yeah, McFarlane still has all the Spawn stuff laying around.
Yeah. I've heard that.
And I know Liefeld has kept most of his stuff too. So a lot of those guys haven't sold a lot of the stuff they've done at Image. And they've held on to it. I say hold on to it unless somebody named James or Sam tries to take it out of your hands.
Yeah.
Which is very likely. I'll just let you know.
Well, because Mark has been giving us a bunch of love. Let's give Mark some love. This
Look
is
at that, Mark.
back cover that he did for me.
Awesome.
Nice.
And
Beautiful
then
stuff.
The front cover that he did for me last.
I love that one.
Dude, I love that. I love that image.
He did this on a risograph.
Wow.
Oh man.
That is amazing.
I don't own a risograph.
He's an instructor, an art instructor in Canada, and he sent me he has a bunch of students working on like little zines, and they're making them all off of risographs, and they look fucking sick.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but Mark's a good dude.
Great work. He says those covers are fire. Yes. He says, LOL, bro. Much love. Awesome stuff, guys. Well, Brandon, I know it's past your bedtime, or it's Chuck creation time. Maybe we got you a little fired up to do a little work on issue 2 before you hit the hay, man. Thank you so much for coming on here with us tonight.
Of course. It was a really good time. Can't wait to come back.
I mean, we're going to keep pestering you.
Yeah, I'm going as fast as I can.
Hey.
If I could just stop working and just do it full time, I would.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
Who knows how far
For
along
now,
it'll...
responsibilities will be saying otherwise, but I see great things in your future, man, and this is awesome to be. I feel privileged to be in the early stages of it. I feel like even though Chuck started back in 2016, I feel like all of us are kind of getting in on the ground floor with you on this project. So it's really going to be cool to see where it's going and just how far you continue to evolve.
I really appreciate that, man. This was a really fun stream.
Cool. And I hope that when issue 2, whenever it's going to come out, when the Kickstarter gets announced and fired up, I hope you would come on the podcast to talk about it. I would hope you would get in here with Sam and I again to talk about it once that time comes.
Yeah, for sure. I'll be here.
You don't have a choice.
Yeah. Back him in. Get him working on more covers and stuff for you, Sam.
Yeah, he doesn't have a choice.
There you go. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's close out on the chat here. Squid Mark says, thanks for sharing, bro. And Massive Panda says, excellent interview, guys. And Squid Marks says, I know you got some good things coming. Also, Bristol Bros, huge respect. Thank you. Huge respect to you. Huge respect and thanks to everybody that's been in here with us watching. Again, huge thank you, Brandon. I'm going to throw up all the links here. I want you guys to make sure to check out Brandon's Instagram. That's the main means of you getting your info out, and you keep your website pretty up to date too, right, Brandon?
Yeah, I do. I actually need to throw some recent commissions that I've done up on my website, but for the most part, yeah, it's up to date.
So
and I also have a newsletter too.
Cool. You need to be like doing what Sam was doing before we got on here, updating that website. Awesome. And so the Instagram's at bpaul.art, and the website is super easy to remember because it's also bpaul.art. And then
my email is brandon@bpaul.art. It's
go.
all bpaul.art.
Don't give out your email. Now they're going to be trying to get those pages from you.
Yeah.
Good problem to have.
Yeah.
Maybe you can quit that job and work more on Chuck too if you get those big ballers coming in there trying to buy the whole issue off of you.
We'll see.
And then also, they can go to bpaul.art and go to the store section to buy Chuck, or they can just go directly to chuckbook.com.
Mm-hmm.
And everybody watching, again, smashing that like usually helps get this in front of more people. Make sure you do that. If you're enjoying what we do, please subscribe. Even though it's been in the, in Sam's name banner here the whole time, I want to encourage you guys to go over to sammcclurg.com. This guy is one of the most productive guys in comics right now on the indie and underground scene, always putting cool stuff out. And make sure you come hang out with us every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, unless otherwise denoted. I know we've got a guest coming up here soon that we're going to need to do an hour earlier with. We'll make sure to let you guys know about that. We got some pretty cool guests lined up, don't we, Sam?
Yes, we do, sir. So next week, we got Dan Schlissel from Stand Up Records. He's a good friend of mine. Met him through West Coast Dave. He owns a stand-up record company, so that'll be a lot of fun. And then who do we have after that? I'm trying to remember who else we have after Dan. Slipping me right now.
Since you're blanking, I'll pull up our text. We text a lot, buddy.
Yeah.
We got Brandon from Stand Up Records. Dan, we got Read Your Comics, Daryl.
That's right. Yeah, Daryl from Read Your Comics, of course. Yep. Yeah, so also a good friend and from Dave. And he kind of does the same thing that Dave sort of does live sales and read-throughs comics, so it'll be a good time.
Fun times are ahead, gentlemen. Thanks everybody who watched. Thanks once again to Brandon. Thanks to my Bristol bro Sam. Buy his comics, sammcclurg.com. Everybody, take care, and until next time.